Hello once again, I'm Kevin Kimbrell, creator of Caves and Councils. When you open Caves and Councils issue 1, you're not just reading a comic, you're stepping inside the mind of a boy named Noah. His inner world is represented as a torchlit cave where a council of characters who each look like him sit in a circle on ancient thrones debating every choice he makes. Each figure you see in his cave isn't a separate person, they're all him. 12 living reflections of one soul, each representing a side of Noah that rises, argues, or fades when choices are made. Every one of us has a council like this inside. We just don't often stop long enough to listen to it. The council. At 12 o'clock sits the hero, the protector. He's courage in motion, the part of Noah that stands when no one else will. He doesn't fight for glory, but for what's right. His strength is quiet, grounded in duty, but when it grows heavy, it can harden into pride. At 1 o'clock is the ruler, the organizer and strategist. He brings structure where chaos reigns. He's the voice that says, let's think this through. At his best, he creates order that keeps everyone safe. At his worst, he forgets that people aren't pieces on a chessboard. At 2 o'clock, the sage, calm, observant, and endlessly curious. He's the seeker of truth, the one who listens more than he speaks. He spots patterns and sees motives others miss. But when he drifts too far into his head, wisdom turns cold and distant. At 3 o'clock sits the creator, imagination itself, the spark that builds what's never been built before. He transforms ideas into art, feelings into form, and pain into purpose. But when fear creeps in, he can become the perfectionist, afraid to share anything that isn't flawless. At 4 o'clock, the lover, the heart of connection. He's Noah's warmth, empathy, and need to belong. He reminds the council that logic without love means nothing. When in light, he brings people together. In shadow, he loses himself, trying to keep them close. At 5 o'clock, the explorer, freedom in human form. He's restless curiosity, the drive to ask what else is out there. He reminds Noah that growth means stepping beyond comfort. Yet, if he runs too far, the search becomes escape. Movement for movement's sake, never finding rest. At 6 o'clock sits the orphan, the realist, the part of Noah that remembers disappointment and learns to survive. He's the voice that says, be careful, we've been hurt before. He brings humility, awareness, and truth, but can fall into isolation when trust feels too costly. At 7 o'clock, the rebel, the challenger, born the moment fairness is betrayed. He stands against hypocrisy, questions authority, and breaks what needs breaking. He's the spark of change, the one who says we can do better. But unchecked, that spark can burn bridges instead of barriers. At 8 o'clock, the jester, laughter's sharp edge. He sees through the serious and finds truth through humor. He keeps the council from collapsing under its own weight. But if his jokes come from pain, he hides behind them, using humor to deflect what hurts most. At 9 o'clock sits the magician, transformation itself. He does not fight or flee, he refrains. He's the part of Noah that turns perspective into power, seeing how two truths can coexist at once. But when distorted, he manipulates perception rather than revealing it. At 10 o'clock, the everyman, the steady friend, the part that just wants to fit in and belong. He believes that connection is safety and community is strength. But when fear drives him, he settles for comfort over authenticity, trading his voice for approval. At 11 o'clock, the caregiver, the healer and protector of others. He's compassion in motion, the one who ensures no voice in the cave is left unheard. He offers comfort when things fracture, but if he forgets himself, he can drown in everyone else's pain. And finally, moving freely between them all is the innocent, the child within, the origin. He has no throne because he belongs everywhere. The innocent holds the memory of how every other archetype was born, and the faith that life is still good, even after the world grows complicated. The others exist to help him remember that truth. Together, these archetypes form Noah's inner council, the voices debating every decision, the sparks of conscience, courage, doubt, and imagination that we all carry within ourselves. When one speaks too loudly, the others fade. When they listen to each other, the light steadies. Each archetype is Noah. Each archetype in your council is you. So, I want to ask you two questions. Which archetype do you most identify with? And just as importantly, which archetype would others say you reflect the most? Drop your answers in the comments. There's no right or wrong here. Just reflection, honesty, and curiosity. I'd love to see how your inner counsels compare. Caves and Counsels Issue 1 is out now on Amazon and Gumroad, with more platforms coming soon. Links have been left in the comments or description. If you haven't stepped into the cave yet, this is the perfect time to begin the journey. Because, in Caves and Counsels, every decision is a dialogue, and every voice belongs to you.